And yes, yes, this meeting is being recorded. I need to accept it. Although yes, yes. Thank you, and dear all, and also welcome from my side to this first information part of the brokerage event for the second additional BlueBio call. My name is Kristin Tore, and I am a special advisor in the Department of Ocean and Polar Research in the Research Council of Norway, and then also coordinator of the Untitled COFUND on Blue Bioeconomy, or BlueBio in short, on behalf of the Research Council. I will start my presentation of the second additional call with a brief introduction on who we are and what we do before I inform about this call. BlueBio is a transnational partnership of research and innovation funding agencies and ministries to unlock the potential of aquatic bioresources. We started in December 2018 and we last until June 2024 for about 5.5 years. And BlueBio currently has 30 active partners from 16 European countries and is supported financially by the European Commission. The overarching goal is to identify new and improve existing ways of bringing bio-based products and services to the market. And BlueBio aims to achieve a sustainable and competitive blue bioeconomy in Europe with the following objectives: knowledge generation for blue bioeconomy value chains, and thereby also contribution to the creation of a blue bio knowledge community, and also improvement to the transfer of safe, nutritious, and valuable bio-based products and services from research, innovation, and demonstration to production scale through implementation of a multi-actor approach. To unlock the potential of aquatic bioresources, we apply a value chain concept or approach. While traditional research in this area has focused on developing efficient ways to produce and harvest the bioresources, it is now well recognized that we need to cover research and innovation challenges, gaps, and needs along the whole value chain, from biomass to products and markets, in order to ensure progress towards full sustainability and to accelerate the bioeconomy. This encompasses improvements of existing traditional value chains, such as fisheries and aquaculture, but also creation of new value chains by exploring new and conventional new use of conventional aquatic bioresources, as well as exploration of new and underutilized aquatic bioresources. The biomass could be freshwater or marine, and it may be caught, harvested, or produced in water or on land. To promote the circular economy concept, the use of production waste as a resource should also be strongly considered. Blue biotechnology and ICT are cross-cutting, enabling technologies in these processes. And to further support and assess this value chain approach, we have appointed 4 value chain supervisors, 1 on harvesting, 1 on cultivation, 1 on market and product innovation and differentiation, and 1 on enabling technologies. To do this, BlueBio launches calls to attract projects on the use and added value of aquatic biomass, the freshwater or marine, in integrated value chains. Our main activity is to establish a funding scheme and launch calls for proposals, and then fund and follow up the projects. We launched our first call in December 2018, and this was a co-funded call and the only call with EU top-up. From that call, we funded 19 projects requesting more than 25 million euros. You see their acronyms listed here. The scope of that call was relatively broad, structured around 4 priority areas. 2/3 of the funded projects had a main focus on the exploration and use of new and underutilized aquatic bioresources. and several of them were concentrating on low trophic species such as algae and various marine invertebrates, but also waste or side streams from the fisheries from aquaculture and agriculture were used as biomass in many of the projects. Another third of the projects focus on various ways to improve traditional fisheries and aquaculture. One projects only focus on the synergy between sectors, while use of blue biotechnology and ICT were not addressed as a main focus in any of the projects, but embedded in most of them. For example, microbiomes are used in various ways in a majority of the projects, and development of various new types of products and services are an expected outcome in most of the projects. If you are interested, you can find more information about the projects on our Blue Bioeconomy EU website. The 8th of June last year, we launched our first additional call without European EC contribution. And the 8th of June this year, we followed up with our second additional call that we are now informing about. To prepare for these additional calls and as a consequence of our value chain approach, the value chain supervisors analyzed the co-funded projects relative to the value chains, and we identified some steps that were poorly covered. For that reason, the scope of the first additional call last year was advancing the supply systems in the Blue Bioeconomy value chains, addressing the project gap shown in the middle circle here. And the 19th of May this year, 10 projects were selected for funding, requesting 11.3 million euros and involving partners in all the 13 countries that contributed to that call. This year, we cover the other two gap circles, resource management and market issues. First, this second additional call of BlueBio aims to facilitate research and innovation to underpin the sustainable and circular management and use of natural resources, indicated to the left here as resource management, and with the subtopics A and B. And you should read the justification and explanation why in the call text in chapter 3.2. Secondly, acceptability, trust, transparency, and innovation uptake by citizens are key to the development of the blue bioeconomy sector. And to this end, the production and consumption of safe and healthy food and bio-based products is vital, and this call will address market and socio-economic aspects of the value chain to foster solutions to these issues. Also for this subtopic C, market, to the right in this figure, that is also figure 3 in the call text, you can find some explanation and justification for the subtopic in the call text, this time in chapter 3.3. A further clarification of what we expect of the two resource management subtopics A and B, and also subtopic C, market and socio-economic aspects, are given here in this table, and here described as thematic areas with specific research and innovation topics defined. I will go through them. First, the thematic area A, sustainable exploration of the aquatic environment and biological resources. A1 topic is identification, assessment, and sustainable exploitation of new and underutilized species of aquatic organisms and biomass, such as mesopelagics. Then to subtopic and thematic area B, sustainable and resilient biomass production and processing. We have B1, that is develop and test sustainable feed sources for the blue bioeconomy, and B2, demonstration of sustainable and resilient circular production systems, such as integrated multi-trophic aquaculture and land-based aquaculture. And B3, testing and demonstrating innovative processing systems for sustainable production of blue bioeconomy products. For the thematic area C, traceability and regulatory constraints, we have C1, development of standards, processes, and consumer engagement to underpin smart, efficient, traceable blue bioeconomy food systems. And C2, new approaches to the efficient and sustainable use of byproducts with an emphasis on regulatory constraints. I advise you to read the table and the justification given in Chapter 3 carefully, as relevance of the proposal compared to the call text is one of the evaluation criteria for project proposals. Proposals should also seek to be complementary and avoid duplication to ongoing or recently finished projects funded under Horizon 2020 or other and our ERANET. For all themes and topics above, projects are encouraged to integrate life cycle thinking. It could be full assessments or hotspot analysis to assess consequences of any new method or product and potential environmental impacts of processes, products, or services, focusing on a holistic value chain approach. The European Platform of Life Cycle Assessment provides further information and tools as examples. Moreover, the principle of responsible research and innovation, RRI, needs to be addressed in the projects. Research and innovation must respond to societal needs in order to deliver greater societal and economic impact. And research, innovation, and technological developments leading to societal changes and new products in the market need to be addressed in a coherent way based on a framework for responsible research and innovation. Proposals must therefore include a plan for how this will be addressed in the projects, either as a separate work package or deliverables in the project. And funded projects will be invited to workshops or a learning platform to develop and implement good RRI practices. To facilitate human capacity building and exchange and sharing of knowledge and technology, the role of training and mobility activities as tools for the actors involved should also be described in the work plan for the projects. Then, to facilitate the transfer of project results to the society for further use, that is very important to us, the proposal must include a communication plan that describes concrete measures directed toward various groups of stakeholders. To ensure effective dissemination of research findings, the project must attach considerable importance to both scientific publication and user-oriented communication activities. Information targeting end users of the research must be given a high priority. And we have developed accessible guidelines for human capacity building and communication, and you can see the links here and also find them in the call text. Finally, I will mention that there is a requirement to partners to confirm that they act in compliance with the EC guidelines on ethical issues. And an independent ethics advisor will also assess and follow up ethical issues with all funded projects. The funding available for this BlueBio second additional call is shown in this table. This time it's in total 7.9 million euros, and we see that the contributions span from 200,000 per country up to 2.7 million per countries. And there are, in a way, two groups of countries, one with contributions higher than 1 million euros and some with relatively lower contributions from 200,000 to 300,000 euros. In addition to the funding and the budget available from the funding organizations, you also here see specifics regarding the funding, whether they can fund industry or research institutions or both, and also an indication of the technology readiness levels that can be funded, and also other priorities, limitations, or additional comments specific to the national funders. We also recommend you to look closely into the national fact sheets that you can find in Annex 2 then of the call text. Proposals may have a research and innovation, or demonstration purpose, depending on the scope of the project and the funding agencies involved in the funding of the funding partners. And projects proposals with a technology readiness level up to 7 will be accepted, provided the national funding agency's question can fund them. And TRL 7 reflects a prototype demonstration. And projects should also propose advancements in the TRL levels during their lifetime. This call is, as you probably know, a two-stage call with a pre-proposal and a full proposal stage. And important dates and deadlines relating to this call are shown in this table, that is also table 4 in the call text. In both stages, the calls will be open for applicants for at least 60 days. And important to notice is also that the whole process from the opening of the call until the start of contract negotiations with project partners will take around a year. So next summer, next June. Then there will be an expert evaluation by an international review panel in both stages of the application and selection process. There will be 2 experts per pre-proposal and 3 experts per full proposal. And there are separate evaluation criteria for each of the 2 stages. In the pre-proposal stage, there are 5 criteria, and you see them listed here to the left. And for the full proposals, there will be the standard Horizon 2020 evaluation criteria. In both stages, each criteria will be assessed and given a score between 1 and 5. 5 is the best. And a threshold of 3 will be applied for each criterion, and a total of not less than 10 or 15 for the whole assessment will also be applied. The BlueBio Call Steering Committee, that is composed of representatives of all BlueBio funding organizations to the call, will select pre-proposals for full proposal stage and also later the selection of projects for funding. In both stages, the selection will be based on the ranking after the evaluation process of the International Review Panel. However, the number of selected projects will also need to depend on the available budget of the involved funding organizations. And in the first stage, the first stage will also be used to balance the ratio between requested funding and available funding in case of oversubscription or undersubscription to some of the funding organizations. In order to balance the level of requests with the level of available funds, consortia may be asked to reduce or increase the contribution of partners from countries, and also invite partners from countries with undersubscription. Then it will be, of course, up to the consortia to follow up on the requests or not, as partnership amendments should not compromise the quality of the proposals. In both stages, over and undersubscribed funding organizations, or at least oversubscribed funding organizations, will also be asked to increase their budgets if possible. Then you should also, it could also be nice to know for you that BlueBio is not only about launching calls and funding the projects. We also run a project database mapping national and transnational research and innovation projects. To add value to the funded projects, we also arrange seminars to create connectivity and stimulate synergy among the projects, mainly online. The last one was on microbiomes, and the next will be on market issues. But we also plan physical midterm and kickoff midterm and end seminars. For those seminars, we also intend to invite other projects for dialogue and networking to further strengthen and expand the knowledge community of the BlueBio economy. And training and mobility activities are part of the projects, but together with BlueMed, we also arranged in March this year an advanced training course on blue biotechnologies for young scientists. You see a screenshot of participants and organizers here. We also plan a forward-looking workshop or foresight the coming year to further identify research and innovation gaps and bottlenecks. And this can lead to a roadmap for our late activities and also bring ideas for the Horizon Europe partnerships. Then I would like to thank you for your attention, and you can find more information about this BlueBio call and BlueBio and the projects on these websites shown here. And I will then also stop sharing my screen and be happy to respond to questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kristin. We have not received any questions in the chat, but as Kristin said, if you have any, please raise your hand and you will get the floor, or write them in the question box.
Yes, I'm sure it was quite an extensive amount of information, and I hope it was not too difficult to follow it, but in fact, all of it is also reflected here in the call text, or most of it, not the full information about the BlueBio COFUND and our previous calls, but most of related to this particular call.
Thank you, Kristin. We have a question from Dave Reed from the Marine Institute. Please, Dave.
Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for the presentation, Kristin. Very, very clear, good information. I was just slightly interested very interested, but at the beginning, there was a sort of, you mentioned exploration and then you mentioned exploitation on the next line. Was that just a confusion, or is it about both?
No, it is about both, because we need exploration and identification of how the exploitation can be used in a sustainable manner, and then also how really to exploit in a sustainable manner. So it is, as I said, it's a whole value chain from the defining and identifying and select the bioresources in question. It's about finding new bioresources and also to exploit the more traditional bioresources in a sustainable manner.
Okay, just a follow-up question. You specifically identified mesopelagics as a probable route, and that's definitely what we're interested in. But you also said it should not overlap with Horizon 2020 projects, and there's two large mesopelagic projects within Horizon 2020, meso itself and summer. How do you see the avoiding an overlap between when you've got two such big projects on the same subject area?
Yeah, I'm aware that there are, or we are aware that there are projects on mesopelagics in Horizon 2020 now, and that is also why I stress that you should avoid overlaps. But the mesopelagics was expressed as particularly interesting from at least some of our funding agencies, and that is why we have also here indicated the mesopelagics.
So,
But it does not need to be mesopelagic. It could as well be other low trophic or interesting bioresources.
no, in our case, it would be mesopelagics. But I guess the thing is to avoid explicit overlap.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the European oceans and waters are huge, so I'm quite sure there will be research and innovation needs that are not covered by other projects.
Thank you. Dave, do you have any more questions, or are you happy?
Thus far, I'm very happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then, Kristin, thank you so much for your presentation. We are a little in front of schedule, before schedule, maybe. But I think then that we can go on to the next speaker. Jella, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much, Ingeborg. Welcome everyone to this brokerage event. My name is Jella Kansura. I work at Project Management Jülich, and I'm happy to answer your questions regarding the submission tool and the application process itself. Okay, switch on the camera so you can see me. Here I am. First of all, I would like to draw your attention to the call announcement and guidelines. It's a must-read. It was published last week on June 8th, and we highly recommend to read the full document because it summarizes all relevant information for you who are interested in submitting a proposal. You can find it on both web pages, so at our own webpage of BlueBio and at the submission platform, which is like submission-bluebio.eu. I see that there are questions in the chat. I can't check them now. Maybe we just wait until I finish my presentation. Okay, so what you can see is the timeline of the application process. The call has been opened on last Tuesday. So we give you like time until September 20th to submit your pre-proposal. The pre-proposal is shorter than the full proposal. So we have a two-step procedure here. After having submitted the pre-proposal, there will be a national and a general eligibility check before we forward proposals that have passed this check to the international review panel. Feedback will be given to successful applicants and also non-successful applicants around December this year. And those who are invited to submit a full proposal have time until February 21st, 2022. Again, there will be an eligibility check, and afterwards the review panel will check your proposal again before we have a final decision, give you feedback so you can plan to start your project earliest in June 2022, but until December. This depends also on national regulations. So we defined certain general eligibility criteria that need to be met and fulfilled by each applicant. So the proposal must be written in English, and the duration of each project should not exceed the 36 months. There are 9 technology readiness level. In this call, we allow for TRL up to 7. Please check the call announcement and guidelines because there could be some differences between the funding partners and countries. So this is really important. Regarding finances, we define 2 criteria. So all proposals should not exceed the 1.5 million euro that they request. If there are other partners with own contribution, of course, the total costs could be higher. Another criteria is that out of this requested budget, one country cannot exceed the 60%. So you can have several partners and a coordinator of one country, but in total, the total sum of the requested funding cannot exceed 60% of the total requested funding amount. Regarding countries, we ask you to include at least 3 BlueBio partner countries that have been mentioned and shown by Christine in this table before. The maximum number of partners and coordinators in one consortium is 15, but 10 is the maximum number of eligible partners, and there could be up to 5 additional partners with own funds. We have defined so-called external contributors, and those are the partners from eligible funding countries and non-eligible countries with own funds. So bringing own funds is like the main criteria to call these partners external contributors. It's not possible that an external contributor coordinates a proposal or a project. So this is something that you should keep in mind. All proposals should involve not only research, but also industry, as we defined industry involvement as mandatory. As I said, there will be a general and a national eligibility check, so please carefully read the corresponding fact sheet. It's Annex 2 in our call announcement and guidelines. You can find it again on both URL mentioned here, and yeah, it's clearly stated what is like the condition, what are the conditions. I would like to give you 2 examples just to make clear these criteria I just pointed out. So in this example, we have a proposal that lasts 36 months and is written in English. Fine. It requests a budget of 600,000, and we have different partner countries involved. Those are Denmark, Italy, Malta, and Norway. They are from industry and research, as you can see here on the bottom left, and industry is involved. So this proposal is eligible because the finances are fine, the organization criteria are fine. There are more than 3 partner countries from eligible funding institutions involved, and we have also industry involvement. So this will pass the eligibility check. The second one shows that it lasts only 30 months. It's also written in English. And here we have a lot more partner. The requested budget is correspondingly higher. So it's 1.6 million euro. And we have, again, research and industry. In this case, Norway has different partners from both. Also, industry is involved. However, this proposal would not pass the eligibility check. The reason is twofold. So what you can see here, that the requested budget exceeds the amount that we allow for, the 1.5. So this is not allowed and not eligible. In addition, we have a partner from Belgium who requests funding, but is from research, a research institute. Belgium only funds industry partners, so this would also this partner would also not pass the eligibility check and would need to be like removed from the consortium. However, you can see there's still enough partner countries involved. However, the finance criteria is not fulfilled, so this proposal would not pass the eligibility check and would not be forwarded to the International Review Panel. Regarding the submission tool, I would like to inform you that like the information that is required are regarding the consortium itself, so the coordinator profile and the partners profiles, and also several details about the project itself. All these information needs to be entered online via the submission platform at the corresponding URL. And just to point it out again, during pre-proposal stage and full proposal stage, it's not possible to change core information. And core information is related to partners and also to finances. There might be some exemptions, but in this case, the call steering committee would ask you to do these changes. Please don't be active and do it by yourself without informing us. Okay, so this is like a screenshot how that you could see if you look at our submission tool page. On the bottom left, you can find the call documents that consists currently of the call announcement and guidelines, as well as a template for the work plan that each applicant needs to upload to the submission platform. So the first step would be that a coordinator registers at our platform. You set a password, so afterwards you can use the coordinator login with your email and the set password to see all the sections with information we ask you to complete. Coordinators also add partners to the consortium. These partners will receive a notification email, can set a password, and then in the third step, they can also log in, but please make sure that you use the right login, so there's a specified one for partners. So this is like the first page that you can see after your login. And here on the left, where you can see the yellow arrow, there are the sections I was talking about already. There are several ones. This is just a short screenshot with some of the sections that you can see. So the first one would be that the coordinator completes his or her profile. It's like title, name, but also like you need to describe your expertise and your role in the project. Then, as mentioned, coordinators add partners. You can find it here. It's a button saying add a new partner. Then you write the name and the email address. This is something that needs to be prepared before you add a new partner. And then you can see here 3 symbols on the right. That is a pen, a bin, and an envelope. With a pen, you can like amend a partner's profile. With a bin, you can delete this partner. And with the envelope that appears blue at the beginning, if you click on it, it appears green. And that means the notification email has been sent out and the partner can then set a password and log in. But it needs to be green to show coordinators, oh, I have already activated this account. This is like for you to recognize. Okay, then of course we ask you for project data, the title, the acronym, and the duration. We also ask you for the description, and on top of each text box you can find a short description what exactly we ask you for. There's also a maximum number of characters defined, so please make sure that you do not exceed it, because it's automatically integrated. It's not possible to write more characters than mentioned on top of each text box. We have talked about the TRL. So there are 9 TRL in total. In this call, we ask you to cover TRL 1 to 7, or depending on national regulation, could also start later. So TRL 2, for example. Please make sure that you only select 2 TRL, meaning the minimum and the maximum of the TRL that is covered in your project. So minimum and maximum must differ. We also talked about the priority areas that Kristin has presented already. We have 3 in total. In case you want to integrate lifecycle thinking, please do so in the text box below, where you should describe and specify why you have chosen which priority area. You can also choose more than one, but then please explain why you have chosen A and B or B and C and so on. finances needs to be, these information also needs to be completed by the coordinator. Please consider the order of entry. So first start with yourself, with the coordinator, then the research partners that request funding, the industry partners that request funding, and finally partners with own funds, the so-called external contributors. You can see the table here. Please enter numbers in K euro, so don't write like full numbers. This is definitely not necessary. You can find 5 different categories where you ask you to specify the requested budget. Overhead needs to be clarified with your national contact point in case you are unsure. There are 2 tables, requested funding and own contribution. You don't need to calculate like total sums. This is automatically integrated in the tool. There's also a section called financial comments. In these text boxes, we ask you to specify and describe who is requesting what kind of budget and why. Then we have industry involvement, which is mandatory. And there's also a text box where you should describe in 1,000 characters maximum who will be added and why. The work plan template is an Excel file. You can find it on the main page of the submission platform. Here you can see that you should add certain data. It's described here on top under the work plan title. We ask you to delete this section after you have entered work packages, tasks, deliverables, milestones, and the leading partner, as well as the duration. It's quite self-explaining. However, I just want to point out some examples to make sure that this is like to facilitate the process. It would be good to know, like, to get an idea about your work packages and tasks. If you already have like a certain title in mind, if you change it during pre-proposal and full proposal stage, like minor changes, this is absolutely fine. If you have a deliverable or milestone that will happen in a certain moment, in a certain month, we ask you to write a 1 into this cell, which is called months and indicates the duration. We know this deliverable or milestone does not last 1 month in total, but it's easier for us to see, okay, we ask for the duration in months and not in days or weeks and so on. So after you have completed this work plan, please delete the instructions on top, create a PDF file, and upload it in the corresponding section. You can also upload figures in the project description to give us a better picture about your approach and your idea. Up to 5 figures are allowed. There are certain conditions that need to be fulfilled, for example, the size and the format. It's not required to add a reference list so far. If you feel more confident with it, you can also upload at the end of the project description a picture of the reference list, but this is again not mandatory. And maybe you want to have, or you have like other figures that are more that describe better and improve your project description. So please feel free to decide what you want to add as figure. Finally, you can check what you have already entered. Please make sure that you save your data regularly. In general, you have like 24 minutes. If you are inactive after 24 minutes, you will automatically log out. However, when you log in, your data is still there, but please make sure that you save it regularly. Then you can download it in a so-called fact sheet. This is also a section provided for coordinators and partners. You need to validate, and we recommend it highly, your proposal under the section validation. It tells you if data is still missing. And finally, you have the section submission, where you first have to confirm the declaration, and then you can submit your proposal. A very crucial information is that you can resubmit your proposal at any time until the closing date. So Please get familiar with the tool, start early to enter your data. And again, yeah, you can resubmit it as many times as you want to until September 20th this year. Okay, so there's also a partner login. After they have been added by coordinators, they log in, and then they only need to complete the partner's profile. This is also like mainly the contact data, the country where they come from, and they also need to specify, here you go, like if they want to, well, they apply with a research institution or with a company, but if there are more people involved, you also have the possibility to add new team members. Here, up to 5 are possible. And please also explain and describe your expertise, and especially your role in the project, like in which work package you are involved in which task you are a leader, and so on. So there's a special text box for this. In case you bring your own funds, you need to be registered by coordinators, but please then choose other here on the left. If you choose your country, that would be really helpful for us. We want you to find new partners to complete your consortium and encourage you to connect and get interactive. So besides this option that we have created with B2Match and today's meeting, we also have a partnering tool at the submission platform. Here you can find a list of offers and requests of other partners, but you can also post your own offer and your request here. So this is also an option. If you have further questions, please don't hesitate to contact my colleague, Veronika Jablonowski, or myself, mentioned here on the left. You can also copy and write to the email written in the middle of this slide. We are also available here. And in case of questions related to national law, please check Annex 1, where you can find a contact list in the call announcement and guidelines, and also like the certain conditions that might occur in the national fact sheet in Annex 2. So thank you very much. I'm happy to answer your questions right now.
Thank you, Ella. We have a questions from Björn Altermark in the comments. Is this procedure only for the pre-proposal, or is it for both pre and full proposal?
The submission tool will be the same for both, for pre-proposal and full proposal stage, but there will be some changes. So the sections keep the same or will be enlarged and extended, but the procedure will be more or less the same. So you have text boxes, click boxes, or something where you can upload your data. Is this fine, or do we need further information?
Yeah, hi. I just wondered this. Sorry for not having the camera on.
That's fine.
So the work package plan, this Excel file, do that need to be filled out in full for the pre-proposal?
Very good question. So no, we will have the Excel file for pre-proposal stage, just to facilitate the process for applicants, so for you, but also like to get a first impression of your project that will be evaluated by the International Review Panel. During full proposal stage, we have a full work plan that is integrated in the submission tool, where you need to add your data again. But then we don't have an Excel file. It's like an automatically Gantt chart that will be created on one page after you have added your data during full proposal stage.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Björn. Thank you, Jella. And there are no more questions in the chat, but if you have more questions during this call, please post them in the chat and Jella will probably be able to answer them on the fly. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think we will take a 5-minute break, or maybe perhaps almost 8-minute break, and then start up again at 11. Then there will be some more information about the networking possibilities. Hope to see you then. Just stay in the call, but mute yourself. Thank you so much.
Matchmaking via the B2 Match platform, you'll need to register. And you can do so via the green Register Now button, shown here in the red circle, found on the main brokerage event webpage. Once you've filled in your personal and organizational information, you'll come to some pages regarding attendance. Now, the first one relates to today's event, but the second page should look like this one and is for the sessions on next Monday, the 21st of June. For the welcome and elevator pitch sessions, you simply click the boxes if you wish to attend. For the one-to-one meetings, you must select the times that you're available. The default is unselected. There are 5 time slots, 20 minutes each, with 2 coffee breaks scheduled. You can select all of the time slots or just a selection of them. And regarding the elevator pitches, if you wish to give a pitch of your research or your business, please indicate this during the registration process, or you can contact the event organizers whose names are also listed on the event page with their email addresses. The final page in the registration process is shown here and relates to the long-term matchmaking. Ticking the box here means that you have access to the B2 Match platform until July 22nd. You can browse participant profiles and set up meetings at any time that suits you up to this date. If you don't select meetings or the long-term matchmaking during the registration, you can still go back in and select them later by logging into your profile and going to My Availability. And then you can simply just tick the boxes for the sessions that you want to attend. If you're not familiar with B2 Match and scheduling meetings, there is a link on the main event homepage called How It Works. It's indicated here on the top right in a red circle. This gives an overview of how you can get the most out of the event. Briefly, you register for the event, which I've described. Then we advise that you take some time to create a suitable profile so that you can enhance your networking opportunities. You can then browse participants via either the list of participants, or you can search for particular organization types if you're in industry looking for a research partner or vice versa, or you can look for specific areas of activity of interest. If you click on a participant's profile, you can see their areas of activity indicated here by the top red arrow, which should have been selected during the registration process, and their marketplace opportunities, including project cooperation. We would advise that you fill in the marketplace opportunities section. For example, if you are a coordinator and you're looking for specific project partners, or maybe you just have a research idea that you would like to find somebody who's interested in working with you on. It also has a neat feature in that you can upload files or videos if you wish to highlight your research, your expertise, whatever services you may offer. And this can really enhance meeting opportunities. You can send messages or request a meeting with someone by clicking on the blue tabs shown here in the red circle beside their profile. If the tab is gray, like the one on the third profile down, that means that the person is not available to meet. Any meetings that you do schedule or accept are accessible when you log into your own profile, and in the top right of the screen, you can click on either agenda and meetings, and any meetings should show up there. You simply click on Start Meeting. Thank you very much and enjoy the brokerage event. And Ingeborg, back to you.
Thank you so much, my
Any questions?
So let's see, there has not been any questions raised in the chat. I also don't see any raised hands. I hope you can't hear the helicopter over me. A certain president of the United States is visiting and staying just around the corner from my office this week. So it's a bit different this week. So if there are no questions, then I think we can move to the next section, Kristin. So we're almost done with the information part of this meeting.
Yes. Ingeborg, even if there are no questions to this information about the brokerage event, I would just strongly encourage you to participate and to make use of it, because this is how we really plan, or we try to make it easier for you to identify and connect to potential partners for the applications. And then also, we would also like encourage you to inform your colleagues and others that you know about who could be interested in the call, and share this information with them. This online event will be next week, or on the 21st of June, but please be aware that it will be open and you can find and identify and connect also with the tool just until the almost the deadline of the pre-proposals. So we really hope that you can take advantage of this opportunity to connect and connect with the other applicants.
Thank you, Kristin. The last point on the agenda is a little information about next events and deadlines. Are you ready, Kristin? Sorry, we have, there was a point also to give some information at the end, but if you're not quite ready, we can repeat, I think, the major points that also was highlighted by Jella, I'm sure. Sorry, I'm having some technical issues. I wanted to, anyway. On what the deadlines are and the path forward. So, Jella, did you have a slide? Do I remember correctly?
I don't have a slide, but I think I can mention maybe the 3 main dates and deadlines that everyone should keep in mind. So next week, 21st of June, there will be the second part of the brokerage event where we will meet and open like the one-to-one sessions at B2Match. This is number 1. Number 2 is the 20th of September. This is the submission deadline. Again, you can submit your proposal as often as you want to via the submission tool, but please make sure that you don't exceed the deadline. It will be at 1 o'clock during the day, Central European summertime. Please make sure that you have submitted your final proposal until then. And maybe as a kind of outlook, in December, you will know if you are invited to full proposal stage. And you have 1 month to find a good partner for your proposal, because B2Match is open until 22nd of July. So that were 4 dates, so I'm sorry that I missed one. But these are the 4 main dates that you should keep in mind.
Exactly. Thank you, Jella. So we hope that you manage to find some excellent collaborators these next few months. There are, of course, many ways you can find them, and we encourage you to use the B2Match tool. There is, you can always, as Jella said earlier, you can always get in touch with us if you have questions about the call, about the portal, about B2Match. We are very available. And then now the information meeting itself is done. We will keep the floor open if you have questions and want to discuss either with us coordinating the call. There are a couple of country representatives here as well from the funding organizations that you can ask questions directly to. There might be some more logging on in 20 minutes. We have been a little quicker than scheduled. But as I said, you can always reach us by email. So please raise your hand or turn on your video or unmute if you have any questions. But for now, I think we can say thank you so much for joining us today. Kristin wants to have a few words, last words as well.
Yes, also one more recommendation to you. It's very important not only to read the general part of the call text, with also then the general eligibility criteria and the general information. For each of you, please read carefully the fact sheets provided by the relevant funding organizations in your country. There may be important information that you need to fulfill, requirements you need to fulfill in order to be considered eligible from your funding organizations. And I will particularly point to the fact that in Italy there will be a requirement for Italian partners to submit a proposal to their funding agency at the same time as you submit the full proposal to the submission platform. In case you are not aware of that, and do that correctly, the whole proposal, or at least you, the Italian partner, may be declared not eligible. So I just want to make you aware of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristin. Very important information. So if you're considering applying, then not only read your own country's fact sheet, but also the ones of your potential partners. Okay. Yela also has some final comments.
Yeah, a kind of final recommendation, just to make sure that when you create your consortium, we have the defined criteria that there should be at least 3 countries that are eligible should be involved. Make sure that you involve probably some more, because it could be possible that one partner does not pass the eligibility check, and would be a pity that the full project is like a very good approach, but due to this criteria, someone is like, someone needs to be rejected. So it could be wise to add more partners to your consortium.
Yes. Yeah.
A little resilience packed into your project.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do you have any final words as well, May-Britt, or are you happy?
No, I'm happy, thank you.
Okay, then I think the 4 of us will stay here in case we have some people with questions. I will stop the recording and say thank you very much.